task at this point.
Yep, Corki has been picking up a few more wins than he otherwise was getting, but either Corki or Misfortune both make me quite upset.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you guys, that's not exactly filling me with excitement. This least of all, as MF has really found herself struggling to find a whole lot of value, especially against something like Ibai, Cassante as well. There's a lot of ways to really take advantage of a more stationary target.
Yeah, we know how well Smash can play Zeri, for example, and they've got a lot of setup for it. They've got great scaling. I'm surprised that they just slam down the Misfortune because it's very risky. And Leona is open as well. Man, this is such a great lock. And
oh, never mind!
Blitz is great as well into this Misfortune. I mean, anything that's going to be able to, at range, grab a stationary target is going to feel really good about this. And Jace also is somewhat reliant on his ability to set up these engages from a distance while the rest of the team follows up in that moment, because he is a tank, but he's kind of like a suicide bomber tank. He goes in, does a bunch of things, lives for a little bit, gets some cooldowns, and the AZIR follows up, the Misfortune follows up, but the Blitzcrank could just yank him out of position and ruin all of that and then front to back, especially because they have so many great follow-up tools as well to isolate him or the Xin Zhao, even though Xin Zhao can absorb so much pressure, and Owner has been such a good Xin Zhao player when it comes to that. If he gets pulled...
Game number 1, that would be extremely exciting. Let's dive into it. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 1. T1 on the blue side taking on Nongshim here, who were victorious yesterday over the Bros. We thought that the Bros, after their victory over Gen G, were going to be pretty good here in this LCK Cup. Well, they're pretty absent now, unfortunately. And Nongshim are here in their place, and we'll see whether some of that Giga Chad energy has rubbed off on Nongshim.
Yeah, that's the question. Nongshim really leaned into their dive identity towards the end of the group battle stage, and yesterday as well. Lehen's heavily kind of saying, look, I've got a unique champion pool, and we're going to be able to utilize that in some cool drafts, and I think this is another example of that with the Misfortune locked in, and some of these squishy targets here for T1. Even the Jace in the mid game isn't going to be that tanky just yet. I mean, you really have a lot of opportunity. You do see that, you know, there was a bit of a late rotation over for Nongshim. They had the vision that there wasn't going to be anyone coming into where right now you can see Vi starting the jungle.
Just getting poked into oblivion. As level 2 has been found. Heroic charge, no stun here from Carrier, as now Lehans finds the hook. Onto Carrier, gets the knock up, but now he's taken so much damage. Smash, one more auto will do it, and he flashes forward to pick it up. That's first blood in this bottom lane, as the flash from G was so weird alongside that heroic charge. One more auto would do it, but it's not gonna be there, and it's a double in the bottom lane for T1.
Bottom side fight. Let's see if they can quickly try to use this prio to grab Dragon and then turn to the Grubs, because if you end up losing a lot of control early, it's going to be a disaster, and Gideon's in trouble.
Owner's going in, but Carrier taking a fair bit of damage as well. Steadfast presence as he misses the Mystic shot there. Does Jiwoo, and Lehen's going to pay the price for it. Smash grabs yet another kill as Arcane Shift gets Jiwoo out of there, but Tri-Brush not going to be warded, and therefore no more shots going to land. Nongshim not finding wins really anywhere. Convinced you that this bottom lane is not somewhere that he wants to exist, and I believe he agrees. Kingen now looking for a bit of an angle as Carrier moving on up. Doran moving in as well as another heroic charge. Kingen trying to get himself out of there as the Crescent Guard is now on cooldown. Faker very low though, cannot join this fight as the hook is going to connect. Can they actually CC this Xin Zhao enough? That's the question. Gideon diving on top of him, flashes forward. Owner is healing though, and is going to survive. Good shield there as Kingen comes in to protect his jungler. And now Doran should be able to just finish off Fisher. If that hook had landed, Fisher able to flash his way out, but now Kingen's the one that eventually will pay the price.
Oh man, Nongshim committing so heavily to this one. Len should be able to get the execute here at the end of the day, but ultimately still another kill over to T1. They will be able to secure 2 out of 3 grubs at the end of the day. Fisher also losing his flash. Only Jiu with his flash left remaining here across the side of Nongshim. As Carrier looking for a buckler and won't find it, but ooh, that was a bit of a messy one. Real control. Kingen is just like, let's see how good Cassante is. I have no flash.
Yeah. Does have his ultimate back off cooldown, but let's see what he can actually get done here as the Steadfast Presence gets him into the wall. There's the bullet time, and he's dead.
It's just systematic here by T1, and the cross-map Doran is like, well, I'm just not going to take a chance. I'm just going to walk away. Will be a little bit of plate gold going over to Gio in return, but it's never going to be an even trade. And even with the wave getting cleared out by that shock blast, they're not going to get hardly anything here, as this should also just be first brick for T1. And this is T1 Snowball. We talked about it in the points of the match, so we're looking at a 4,000 gold lead nearly here.
We're going to hold on to the wave, and Lehens can't really seem to hit a hook on his former top laner. And looks like Doran, he can land a few shock blasts. Lehens going to have to back himself out of the way. So feats of strength now going over to T1 with that first brick falling down on the bottom side. And maybe I should change my opinion on Misfortune. Maybe Misfortune is actually just fantastic.
I just don't know if it's really about the Misfortune. Like in the bottom 2v2, her damage was big. Is Doran?
All right, there's cease and desist. Let's see whether they can actually get the kill. They pull him back, but now it's Carrier to remove Gideon from the equation. Still, Doran does go down. Faker teleporting in. I don't know about that one because he's trying to get himself out. A little bit weird as far as how the Observer PC managed to figure that one out, but Faker not able to get him far enough with the shifting sands. And that is 2 comeback kills here for Nongshim. Don't know whether it's going to be enough, but it's a good start.
It's definitely a step in the right direction for Nongshim, but that type of proactivity is a tough call to make, especially here when you're just locking somebody down and you just press R. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have a look at it happening one more time. Let's see whether the Casante shenanigans can actually bring Kingen out of this one. The all-out just not going to be invested, so he's just going to die.
Okay. That's,
Yep.
That's one step back.
Once more on the floor.
Yes.
Guess how we're going to call that one. Still, Kingen will be back up again in 12 seconds. Time has teleport, so maybe they were hoping to fight over the grubs, which are now up and available.
This is not the Casante who's down, 30 CS because of a weird lane swap shenanigan. It's just he's been constantly dove and threatened, so he spent a lot of time in the death chamber. He can't hit CS from there. And this is going to be T1 looking to grab 5 of 6 grubs here. And beyond the death's top side, I was going to mention this before, which no longer relevant, but it was almost perfect game pace for T1 leading up until that because they had everything else. The Dragon is theirs as well because Owner was on the bottom side taking that while that top side play was happening. And Lehens, like, you've got to be, first he wasn't hitting all of the important hooks, but now it's like, well, do you want to hook anybody? Is it safe to hook any target anymore in these types of skirmishes when you're this far behind? The answer is most of the time going to be no. And T1 is like, okay, we already grouped to get the bottom turret. Now let's systematically move top side, zone you away, and take this one too. It's not just the turret. It's zoning's Gio out of farm as well. And, you can see Kingen is like, cool, I've got my Shadow Jungler bottom side. I'll eventually get this one, but it is never going to be a race that you win.
Yeah, and Gio still going to get pressured here. 4 people towards the top side of the map. They're just desperately trying to get vision down so they know where they're all coming from. Fisher goes back, gets himself his Ludens. Let's see whether that's going to be enough to help them at least try and challenge, as the inner turret is well and truly under fire. 5 grubs is no joke when it comes to the damage to that one. But Fisher moving in. I think T1 have decided that maybe this is enough. Smash able to strut his stuff, so not too worried about that one. And Doran
with BT, so that's an extra shield he's going to have on top of dealing with Ezreal pretty well, but now we can deal with the poke from those Qs from Gio, so it's just a really tough matchup for Gio, and that's just another turret gone. So that'll be a 3rd for T1, all outers removed, and I mean, Faker went for Leandri's first. I feel like if he went Nashor's Tooth first, they might have even been able to get bigger advantages. That's normally what you do with AZIR, but he saw the Casante on the other side, and he was like, well, let's go for Leandri's first. I think it's a wise choice, but given what we know now, he probably wishes he did it the other way.
Yeah. Well, there's a heroic charge onto Jude. If it doesn't get the stun, then the bullet time doesn't get a whole lot of value. As we get a bit of a zoom in, Jonas Strong also thought Lehens might go for something, but as it turns out, he did not. And so with bounties up and available, Nongshim are looking for a dragon, but looks like T1 are going to deny that as well. Will Nongshim ever be able to get anything this game?
It just doesn't seem likely unless T1 make a big mistake. And even look at how safely Doran's playing. He's just sitting under turret knowing they don't have control of the pit. And while he sits there, they can't punish him, and then T1 push mid.
Well, True Shot Barrage going to try and help clear out this wave. Lehens making his way over, but this turret is just dead. And because Carrier can channel the ultimate, that's all you really need to worry about. That can protect their escape very comfortably. And in the meantime, Faker also taking another inner turret. There's only one inner turret left. And that's a Rift Herald as well.
Yeah, I mean, T1 are just farming Nongshim right now. Like,
yeah.
Everything that's red belongs to me. Everything the light touches is T1's kingdom, and with all the wards they have all over the map, the light touches everything, as it turns out, and
I think even... Yeah, I would definitely be alongside you on that opinion, my friend. As Kingen is desperately going to try and defend this indefensible in a turret.
FAKER has Nashers now, already got that inner, so there's not a whole lot of like side lane hitting of turrets to do, but he still can hit the champions pretty hard. And the Leandri's damage into Kingen is going to hurt a lot. The LDR that's done at this point in time for Smash is going to hurt a lot. Gio has his second item, but he doesn't have stacks.
Gideon just completely isolated now. And yeah, Smash able to hit him mid-Vault Breaker with a bullet. And that's going to be enough to get rid of the Vibe.
We might have that trademark 20-minute objective from T1 in this game, except it'll be an Otacon this time.
Yeah, I think it will definitely be a 25-minute Baron as well, if we actually make it to 25 minutes. That's kind of my theory.
Oh!
All right, there's a pick onto Carrier. Hook is going to land that time. Kingen going to whiff the Q.
To just hit objectives and do a lot of damage to them. And it's a little bit later than on 20, but about 2015.
Yep, and we're also standing on some vision here on Nongshim's side. Let's see whether they can get some sort of steal happening, as there is the flash forward. Gideon steals it, and now they get a free ticket home. Can they grab themselves some kills as well? That's the question. As 200 gold going over to Owner, as they are just kind of farming these Otacon buffs. Still, it's not as bad as dying. Creative draft ideas is I'm going to have to hold that thought, because we might have a fight breaking out. Nongshim all grouped as 5. Carrier with that Keeper's Verdict can really make things tough, as Doran on a flank angle. Fisher over the wall there as well. Cease and desist to get on top of him. And Doran's just being thrown around this fight like a ragdoll. Fisher is now found by Carrier, who does just evict Giu. Empress Divide goes wide though, is now Kingen trying to stay alive, but he's still at Otacon buff for another 20 seconds, so that's kind of cute. That's going to be Owner taking away the dragon. Flash out from FAKER avoids the hook as Giu makes his way back into the fight.
Coming.
It's a 1-for-1 so far, but like you say, Kingen making his way back into the battle might mean that T1 aren't exactly getting out scot-free. True Shot Barrage does sail by and does nothing at all. And it looks like T1 will be safe for now with the Drake in hand.
If there was a better teleport angle for Kingen, if they had...
And Owner and FAKER getting to work on this dragon. Cease and desist is going to connect onto Smash. Keeper's Verdict just to get rid of the damage. And down goes the jungler. And that will mean Baron is available if T1 would like to take it, as now Kingen being discovered by Owner is exactly what Nongshim do not want. Just pick after pick here for T1, and 1 versus 5, I don't think he's going to be able to get that one. Lahan's going to get picked up by that Emperor's Divide and will be cut down where he stands as well by the onslaught of Sand Soldiers. And T1, I don't know whether they even necessarily need to take the Baron. They might just do it because they feel like it, but I think also pushing into the enemy base might be a way to win.
Yeah, well, it looks like Fisher's flash isn't going to be enough to get him out of here. And
To the Skies was both a request and the name of the ability.
Yes. I think that with the AZIR damage here, they could easily just 2-man this, and then the remainder of these minions, which aren't really being thinned out by anyone, will just end the game here for T1. FAKER does have teleport as well, so he can just TP to mid, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He's looking for the second inhibitor here. They can start to collapse in with these Baron-buffed cannon minions to say goodnight.
Well, there's finally a hook connecting onto Doran. Nice work, Lahens. We got there, even though it is a little bit too little and perhaps too late. Inhibitor goes down, top side and mid. Not exactly what you want. Is now Owner possibly out of position as well. Crescent Guard does absolutely nothing. Is now Kingen. Gets an all-out onto Doran. Nongshim actually finding some angles here as FAKER is now on the floor. Carrier and Smash, the only ones left alive. Thank goodness they took the Baron.
I mean, the fact that Fisher's teleport came off cooldown, I think, was the biggest concern for T1 on going for the end, because a flanking Aurora could have been an issue, but they pushed so deep anyways, they could have tried to maybe potentially rely on those super minions, or not the super minions, the Baron buff minions to then kind of siege the Nexus and stay together, but they kind of fragmented themselves off. Had a bit of
They can take that to the bank. I don't know whether it's going to save the Nexus, but still. Giu going to be clearing out waves as best he can. The wave clear is mainly going to be coming from Fisher this game. And so the Baron buff kind of makes him a little bit sad. But when the minion waves are crashing in on top side and mid, and he's just clearing them out, he does do a decent job taking them down. But now that the siege is on, This is where things get dangerous. Out goes King and in goes Carrier. Ono looking for an advantage onto Jiu, who's trying to stay alive, but the bullet time says absolutely not. Lehens down to 50%, make that 30 and make that dead. Empress Divide doesn't do a whole lot because the all-out gets King and through it, but he also heads straight to the death chamber. It's a triple kill for Smash. Fisher the last man standing, and there was a blip. There was a bit of a hiccup, but ultimately the outcome was still the same as it's been dictated throughout the entirety of the game. T1 just too good in this game number 1.
Very dominant game from T1. Their goal difference at 30, I think, was 4.